Good morning and welcome to today's press conference. We're joined by Sporting Kansas City's President of Soccer Operations and General Manager David Lee. Our first question will go to Daniel Sperry with the Kansas City Star.
Hey there. Been a while since we last talked. Just curious, in the news lately, there's been a lot of rumors linking this club to pretty large transfer value players. The discussions are kind of beyond what I think has normally been the type of player pool I think that we've seen linked to Kansas City. I don't know if you could just kind of comment on right now kind of where the club's transfer ambitions are going, kind of the vision for this window, but also kind of in the larger picture, especially with a guy like Peter Maluk kind of talking up a big investment in the club going forward.
Yeah, good to see you all. So I think we are in the market for good players. That is a starting point for every transfer window, and we are going to use every available resource we have in terms of discretionary spending to be able to try to improve our team as much as we possibly can. Since Peter's come on board as owner, we have absolutely been looking at players that will require a big transfer fee or have high salaries. Ultimately, we're going to be in the market for the best player we can find, and Peter has said, and I think he said publicly, that ultimately we want to find good players, and he's willing to fund what that will cost in order to sign those players. So it's been an interesting process over the last few months and a fascinating process and really, really good. We've still got a lot of work that we want to do on the roster, but it's been a really exciting few months, and to engage in these conversations with these players and be able to show all the amazing things that Kansas City has to offer to these players, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more players across the line as soon as possible.
How much have those conversations changed maybe from within the last 6 months or so, especially considering the last transfer window, you guys spent on quite a few players to bring in, but not necessarily in that kind of that next category of spend. What has anything changed in the conversations, and what have those been like since then?
Yeah, so I mean, we only signed one discretionary player in Diego Borges. We spent other money, regular salary cap money and GAM and TAM on other acquisitions. We only signed one discretionary player in the January to March window. So we currently have 3 available discretionary slots. And so has the process hasn't really changed all that much, I would say, in the last 6 months. I think as Peter's come on board and we've had conversations, I think we are open to looking at players that maybe prior to this we had not been thinking about financially, and so some of those conversations have opened some different doors to us and maybe changed some of the players that we were potentially looking at, but not all of them. As I mentioned at the very beginning, we want to sign as many good players as we can, and that's what we've been working on over the last 6 months, and I'm really pleased with the group that we've managed to assemble so far, and I'm really excited about what we're going to be able to do over the coming couple of months before the window closes.
And then is there an urgency with the way that the World Cup has played out here as a host city, but also look at TV ratings for the World Cup, especially U.S. games, are through the roof. Is there an urgency to capitalize on that growth that potentially can come, especially with all the hype around the World Cup right now in the city and all that?
Yeah, I think there's urgency probably in a couple of different areas. Urgency because we have a game on Thursday and we want to have the team as competitive as we can for as many games that are remaining this season. So that's probably what I would say what is the number one factor driving the urgency. We have 3 new foreign players in the building for the day one of the transfer window opening. So I'm pleased that we've been able to be earlier in the market so far with the players that we've been able to bring in. But absolutely, the World Cup's played a big factor. We've all seen the amazing experience that everyone had in Kansas City, and it put Kansas City absolutely on the world map that maybe it had not been to some people in Europe or South America in particular prior to this. And so we absolutely want to take advantage of that. But number one is to put the best possible team we can on the field, and that's going to be the focus, and try and get that done as quickly as we can while making good decisions is going to be critical for me.
I think of all the names, obviously Mo Salah is the biggest one kind of being thrown around. I know you can't really say much, but kind of just when it comes to players of that kind of caliber, of that kind of history, just how do you kind of go about, pitching the club? Obviously, is it a different pitch when it's, going to players of that level?
The honest answer is every pitch to every player I've ever given is different, because you're trying to understand the motivation, the drive for every individual, what drives them personally, professionally, what their family situation is, what age they are. If you're pitching to a 21-year-old to a 34-year-old, it's a different conversation. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say that is consistent in every single meeting I have is who we are as a club, who we are as a city, what our ambition is, and where we're going. And I have to say, in every one of those conversations, we get an awful lot of people that are very excited about the direction of this organization and some of the reasons why I was so excited to join last October and to be going on that journey. And so that's the work that we've been doing in all those conversations, but the pitch is absolutely slightly different. But we are still talking about who we are as a club, what we want to do, what we are able to do personally and professionally for any player, and that they are the things that really drive most player decisions.
And on the solid front, just have to ask, can you share anything just about of that discussion at all?
No, I'm not going to share anything, as you might imagine, on individual players, whether under contract or not. I'm not going to get into the habit of talking about individual players at any point if I can avoid it. We're interested in really good players, and so anyone that we think can be a fit for us and is going to fit what we would like to do, we have an interest in and would like to have a conversation with.
And of the new signings, obviously starting from that back line and moving forward, just what is it about, starting from the back line and trying to acquire players moving forward up front?
Yeah, so I think, as we entered into the window, we had a bunch of resources available to us. So we have, as I mentioned, we've got 3 discretionary slots open, and we had a significant amount of allocation money that we'd reserved from not making some of the acquisitions in the prior transfer window. And so we knew we wanted to address a few areas in the team. Defense was absolutely one, but we also would like some attacking players. But in general, most of your discretionary slots are more likely to be used on attacking players than defenders. So obviously not what we did in the initial window with Diego, but that was really the thinking behind that. And so we knew we wanted to add more competition and get some players into that area. And so with Orr and Moisés and Emir, we're really happy that they're here and beginning to acclimate while they 2 of them still need to acquire. One of them still needs to acquire a visa, but we're working through that process now. But really excited. I think they're all different profiles in terms of their technical qualities. I have to say I really like the age of the acquisitions that we've done. Emir is the oldest player we've signed, other than Steph, I think. Emir is 29, Moisés is 25 or 26. We've really tried to prioritize players that are in and entering their peak years, because that will give us the platform and opportunity to build over a number of years and build a team, rather than needing to sign players maybe slightly on the older end of that spectrum, where you might need to make more significant changes every couple of years, because we're ultimately trying to build a platform that the team can start with for the next years ahead for this organization.
David, we talked before the World Cup. You guys knew this was a moment you needed to capitalize on. I just wonder if you can go back to the winter window. You got ownership change. You're relatively new. Rafa didn't get in here till late, and there were a lot of moving pieces. How much more settled is the organization, top to bottom, going into the summer window to really kind of attack this and add pieces?
Yeah, I don't think Rafa was here late, I will say. I thought Rafa was here and available for the whole of preseason. So for me, that I don't think that it was maybe later than what people outside had hoped, but for us, that was still on the right timeline. I think we are in a much more settled place now. I think when I came into the organization in October, there's an awful lot that you need to do to understand the dynamics and how everything has been working for ultimately probably 15 years prior to my arrival. The organization had been in a place for six months without anybody in my position to try to start to provide some leadership. So really trying to understand everything that we needed to do while we were 7 weeks away from, sort of maybe slightly more than that, maybe 10 weeks away from pre-season starting. There was a huge amount to do. So I definitely feel like we're in a stronger position. I think that is probably a signal of that is that we've been able to get some of the player signings done early, and I think earlier than most MLS teams. I'm not sure there's other MLS teams there might be, but I'm not sure there's others that have 3 foreign players already in. Like say the window only opened yesterday or today. So for us, I think that is a signal that we are moving in the direction, but there is still an awful long way to go. There's still an awful long way to go. There's a lot of improvements that still need to be made for us to take the organization where we want to get it to. But I'm certainly pleased sitting here of the work that we've been able to do over the first sort of 6 months of 2026.
And then I wondered if you could speak to, over the last month or so, how have you personally taken in the World Cup here in Kansas City, and what did you learn about soccer culture in this town while the World Cup was here?
Yeah, so I am unfortunately probably one of the only people who's not engaged as much with the World Cup as I would have very much liked to, because I've been very busy. So I've not been to any games. My family have been to some games, and so I've been watching as much as I can from TV. I've loved the experience. I think before any World Cup starts, there's always questions about what it's going to be like, and I think it's just been such a smash success. I think there are so many individual moments that come to mind when you think about the impact of the World Cup. It was referenced in an earlier question, but I perhaps had underestimated or not quite understood the level of interest in soccer in Kansas City, and when you see the TV ratings, not just for the US games, but the US games, but in general, and how Kansas City is consistently either number one or number two top-rated market for games in the World Cup. It shows what an amazing place that we are and that we live in, and what obligation we have as the team in Kansas City to be able to reflect the amazing audiences that we have. So I think that's been fantastic, but I'm really excited to good, amazing semi-finals coming up in the next couple of days, and I'm excited to watch through the through the end of the tournament.
Hey, David. The three players that came in for this window so far are all defenders. Are you pretty happy with where you've built that line now, and are you mainly looking towards other lines, or can you just talk about what you are still targeting for this window?
Yeah, so I would say we are still open to adding potentially one more defender if we can. We've got now to navigate through salary cap situation, but ultimately I would say our main focus now is more on the attacking half of the pitch. So what that looks like with wingers, attacking midfielders, something like that. But our focus is mostly on the attacking side of the pitch now, particularly with the 3 discretionary slots that we have available to utilise. That is likely to be where I would expect most of the focus and new acquisitions to come over the couple of months would be focused.
Then I know it's always hard when we ask, do you have any number of players you expect to bring in? But do you have any number of players you expect to bring in?
I sort of went into the window hoping for a minimum of 4, maximum of 7. I think we have 3, depending on when we count Orr's arrival. But so I still think there's space for probably 2 to 4 new players, and that would be the hope. There's always a plan, and plans change, but the hope is still to get 2 to 4 new players before the end of the window.
And again, a question you probably can't answer, but I know you were able to look at more potential larger discretionary fund usage. Do you have any, has Peter communicated like a top end of that, or is this a conversation where you go, I'd really like this player, is this okay?
Yeah, I've not been given a specific budget. I think the direction that's been given from Peter and the Illig family as well, who's still involved on a daily basis, is we want to make the team better. And so bring me opportunities that we believe in that make the team better. Now, I still have a responsibility to be fiscally responsible. That is my job. You can't be out in the transfer market and saying you've got an awful lot of money to spend, because otherwise players, agents, that makes my job actually quite a bit harder. But we've just been looking at acquiring players that we believe will help improve our team the most, and it's been a really interesting couple of months to be going having some of those conversations of players that maybe we wouldn't have done 6 months ago or 9 months ago when I first came to the organisation. That might not have been the case, and so no upper limit being given, but my job is still to try and make the best decisions that we can, because I would also say, I'll remind everybody, there's no correlation between the amount of discretionary money that any team in MLS spends and success. There are many teams that are the highest spending discretionary fund teams right now, and they are the teams that are towards the bottom of the table and have been. And so for us, it's about getting the right players at the right prices and using whatever resources we have to try to make the team better, and not just simply about spending the most money.
And then when you came in, you knew you had a large job to do filling out the roster, improving the roster, but you also had a large job internally filling out staff, scouts, and various analysts and stuff. How is that process going also to help you get along with this? Yeah,
so I would say I'm pleased with the progress. I probably would have liked to have been a little bit further along than I am 6 months in, but we haven't organizational structure that is approved internally, that now I need to work to fill some of the roles. So I think we've done some good work. We've had lots of people in Kansas City for meetings, and really what I'm trying to do is start with identifying people that are going to lead departments here. So whether that's in scouting, analytics, and I can't announce anything right now, but we're pretty close on some of those people being able to join us and then build out their teams as well. So I think one of the challenges that I potentially underestimated was how it would be how difficult it is to manage the short-term requirements of improving the team so drastically when we need as much as we did need coming into the window, while also protecting and trying to make sure I'm also thinking about the medium and long term, which is ultimately some of those staffing plans, which we might not see the benefit of for 6 or 12 or 18 months, but they're absolutely critical to our organization operating at what I perceive to be an elite level.
I was just going to ask how much maybe the World Cup spotlight on KC has changed conversations with players that you might have had. Have you slipped that in, and have players kind of maybe taken notice to that too, as you've had conversations with, I assume, various players around the world?
It's definitely been added to the pitch deck for sure. There's a whole lot of great content that's been that we were all able to see, and so I think it definitely has put Kansas City further into the eyes of the soccer world that perhaps I think it always was, but it's difficult for me to speak about before I came here. But certainly when you speak to players and agents and you speak to people, and we have had Argentina here, we've had England here, we had Netherlands, we had Algeria in Lawrence, and so it's not just the impact of those teams being here, it's those 85, 90 players all going back to their teams and speaking to their teammates about, oh, I was at Sporting Kansas City's training facility and how amazing it was, and what the welcome they had and the reception they've all experienced here. And so the ripple effects I think we will feel for a very long time, which is I think going to be one of the legacy benefits of the amazing work that I do want to specifically call out Cliff and the Illig family and what they did to be able to bring the World Cup here and have 6-7 games, 4 base camps. That really is testament to a huge amount of work and really impressive that I do believe we'll feel the benefits of for years to come.
I wanted to see if there's been any change in the process of kind of when you first came in looking at players, and then how you observe the team style under Rafa, and how you target players just going off of what you see in the first half of the season.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there's a huge change in terms of the process that we're going through. I think Rafa and I from the very beginning were quite clear about what we wanted to achieve. I still think we are going through areas where we want to improve the team. Clearly, from where we are, there's improvement that we need to make. I think we had some key needs. We wanted to add more speed to the team. I think with Calvin and Capita, we've been able to do that. We wanted to add a midfielder that had Lasse's qualities, in particular in terms of its ability on the ball and to build up from deep areas. So I think we've managed to make some steps and some progressions through that. I think now you always learn when you see the team play, and so having 14 games for sure gives us far more knowledge and some experience about some of the benefits, and particularly how some players will fit together that maybe we didn't know in January. And so that is extremely useful, and it's probably one of the other reasons why when you're trying to turn over 15, 17, 18 players in one go, that's really difficult because you just don't know how some players will fit. Well, now we have a much better sense of how some of those pairings will fit. So whether they're trying to look at the midfield, and I think particularly we saw a really good balance in those last 3 matches where, in my opinion, we played really, really well, and we probably deserve 3 wins out of those last 3 games between Lasse and Zoe in midfield. And so you're starting to see some of those things that I think will enable us to build a stronger team, because we can see some of those connections forming, which is really encouraging.
Along those lines, David, this is a club that's never missed the playoffs 3 straight years, and obviously look at the standings; they're in danger of that this year. Is there enough time left, and do you feel like you can get the players in and get them up to speed quick enough to still make something out of this, sitting here 9 points out of the playoff position in the Western Conference?
100%. Yeah, there's 20 games left. We're not even 50% of the way through the season. There's an awful long time left. I think, we have less points than we would like at this point in the season. If we were thinking in January and we're sitting here 14 games in, we always knew that there was going to be a challenge, and we would be sort of looking at this almost in 2 different seasons. We'd like to be further ahead than where we are now, but there's an awful long way to go, and you've seen very crazy things happen in MLS, and I don't think it would be crazy to go from where we are to a team that's in the playoffs. And so the goal hasn't changed. We want to be a team that's competing in the playoffs. That is everything we are doing every day, is to put a team that we believe can do that. I think we've seen some improvement through those first 14 games, and now it will be to supercharge that. We know through every game there's slightly less window and slightly less margin for error, so we have to get our performance where we need it to be, but there's absolutely enough time, and the target's not going to change, and we want to be a playoff team, and that's what we're going to be working to do every single day.
Hey, David, kind of following up on the World Cup, I know it'll probably be a boon for you in the future about how well the World Cup was here, but because of this World Cup, and I've seen this maybe in previous editions, where teams aren't able to, players don't want to think about where they're moving until the World Cup is done, and then it's a knock-on effect that it's a delay of the market, all the different pieces moving, and the players making the decisions of where to go. Have you seen a similar thing like this year, that it's a little bit of a delay, then that things will free up and shortly, and everybody will start making their moves?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's exactly correct. And so, I mean, at the very top of the market, most of the, essentially the transfer market flows from the bigger teams usually doing deals, and that flowing then all the way down, and then those teams need to replace. And so, what you find is, certainly for players, usually, not always, but usually, if you have a player going into a World Cup, they're not likely to sign for a team right before the World Cup, because if they have a great tournament, they might be putting a lot more zeros on their paycheck. And so, there's always a delay, and frankly, for me, that's why I've been so pleased to get Emir and Orr and Moisés in now, because we have been able to start that, and we're not needing to do, if we were looking for between 4 and 7 players, we're not needing to do all of that starting now. We've managed to make some headway into the group that we'd like to add, but definitely think the market will start to move in earnest, I would think, in the next probably 2 to 3 weeks. That doesn't mean we'll be waiting that long. Like, if we've been searching for and talking to players throughout this time, and when the right deal is there at the right price, then that's what we're going to pursue.
David, thank you very much for the time today.
Thanks, everybody.
Decky,
I
I just have a simple question for you. So who's your favorite teammate in that team, and why? Careful what you say.
I mean, I like, to be honest, all of my teammates, but the most interesting one, I would say, and you are going to agree with me, it's Jensen. So I think that he's very funny, and he's a very good player and very great guy for the locker room.
I like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question, please.
Our first question will go to Daniel Sperry with the Kansas City Star.
Just wanted to ask what this last 4 or 5 weeks has been like, as you guys have kind of ended on a good note going into the with form going into the break, and how do you feel like you guys have used this time to capitalize on that break?
I think that we used the time very good. I hope that we are gonna continue how we finished the last few games. So we are gonna build on that, and hopefully we are gonna win a lot of more games and try to catch our spot in the playoffs.
With new guys into the team, and even with that kind of maybe confidence left over, do you feel a difference in the group right now, maybe compared to where you guys left off?
I feel different, but the reality is that we are missing few more pieces. But I cannot say that I'm sad. I can say that I'm happy with the team that we have now. But we all know that we want more if you want to be the best team on the west side. And yeah, we train good. We are ready for the next challenges, and I trust the coach and trust the people around the coach that are gonna bring best possible players in this team.
And then just St. Louis as your first game up on Thursday. Just to start off with the match of that kind of importance for fans in the rivalry there. What's been the conversation like this week with that being kind of the focus match on the calendar?
We prepare for St. Louis like for every other game, but let's say this is the special game, derby game, and we go to their field, to their city, and we are gonna give best to play the best possible game. It's gonna be hard for both teams, but I hope that we are gonna bring 3 points home.
And for you, Rafa, just how have you seen this team grow over the last few weeks, maybe especially from where you guys kind of left off, in kind of ultimately trying to get back to that competitive level that you guys left off at?
Yeah, I'm happy with the few weeks of, call it a mini preseason we've had. The main goal was to get in even a better shape, to work hard. That's what we have done. And I'm happy that we were able to add so far the new pieces, but the reality is that some of the pieces have not been able to train with the team. They're not ready to play. They will need a few weeks to first training because of their either they came from vacation or they didn't play since a while. But I know that these players will make us better. I'm 100% convinced of that. But yeah, the reality is that they're not all ready to start in these coming games. But I'm happy, like I said, I'm happy with those weeks. We were working hard as a team to prepare for these next 20 games.
I know St. Louis has been mentioned here a couple times, but is that something that you communicate to the team, that you know this is a rivalry for the fans and the club, or is that something they just kind of learn?
No, we have communicated that. We've had a few meetings and spoke about the rivalry, the importance, and I think that gave the players, the ones who are not from here, a good picture. And I think that's important. It's important to know that rivalry is also important here. Obviously, we're from Europe. We know that the derbies in certain countries, or in most countries, there is derbies. They're important. But that also exists here. So yes, we have spoken about that.
Rafa, here in the back. First of all, could you just tell me, like, your reaction to Switzerland and making the quarterfinal and the show they put on, on Saturday against Argentina?
Yeah, we're all proud of the team. I think the Swiss national team does a really good job since many years now. It's not the first time that we go pretty far in tournaments, or that be a good job. This was the first time since I think 1954 or so that they go into the quarterfinals, which is amazing for such a small country. So really good performance. Obviously, was decided by a silly moment of the game, where everyone was obviously disappointed, but in the same time everyone was really proud of the team, and I think they can be proud of themselves.
And then, I kind of asked David this too, but how did you personally take in the World Cup here in Kansas City, and being relatively new to the city? What did you learn about soccer culture in Kansas City that maybe surprised you, or that maybe can help you do your job even better moving forward?
Well, I enjoyed the World Cup. I think there's cities in the States who probably didn't have team based there, who didn't host games, and maybe because it's not sport number one in this country, those cities may not have had this World Cup feeling, and here it was a total World Cup feeling, which was amazing. Having 4 big nations based in Kansas City has been really good. Sharing the facility with Argentina, even we didn't really overlap too often, it was special. Playing against England for our team in a little scrimmage is something many players will not experience often in their lives, and then obviously being able to go to attend games here in the beautiful stadium was really nice, and I enjoyed that. I have not been really much in public in the city. I work all day, and then I have a little son where I go home to, my wife, so we didn't really go into the fan fest, but I've heard it's been a really good atmosphere in the city, so I really enjoyed that.
Any additional questions? One from Daniel Sperry.
I was just going to ask you, Dejan, how you felt about experiencing the World Cup. I know you got out to a few games. What has it been like for you here?
I mean, it's been amazing. I watched 2 games, both games Argentina, and most interesting thing that Argentina is here with us, that we are sharing our training facility with them, and few times we saw the players, we watched the trainings, and we had a chance to talk with the players. So that's what is very important, and I think that also will give us extra push to continue in the last 20 games to be able to perform on the highest level.
I was just going to ask you about injuries. Where's the team at right now? I know we didn't see Diego Reynolds, and there was one more, but I can't remember his name. But who else? What's Taylor, yeah. Where are we at on injuries and whether those guys might be available for Thursday?
Yeah, those 3 players will probably not be available this game, or the next few games. Otherwise, everyone before training was healthy. I haven't spoken to the performance team yet. Hopefully they are still healthy yet.
Rafa and Decky, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Thank you
so much.
At this time, we're joined by Sporting Kansas City defenders Blorian and Emir Karić. Our first question will go to Daniel Sperry with the Kansas City Star.
Welcome to Kansas City, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We already talked to you, when you first came in, but just curious what you've seen in the team over the last couple of weeks, and if you could kind of maybe speak to some of the experiences you've been able to have with the club over that time.
Like, first of all, I saw a lot of young players with a lot of energy, like want to learn and to get better. Also, I want to get better and like bring a new energy. Like, I feel it's like we rebuild and we want to achieve some better results. So I feel like good energy and good vibes here.
And then for you, what sold you on Kansas City when you were in conversations to come here?
First I want to thank you for welcoming me here. The talks are very good because I see big potential in this club. I think this club has a lot to offer. Just if you see the facility, it's like you have everything here. I was researching before I come here. How is the playing style? What are the results? How is the team performing? Of course, the results I think have not been the way they wanted to be, but I saw the games, especially the last 3 games, and I saw very good steps forward. Especially when I saw the roster, I see very young players, and I'll be honest, I was a little bit surprised about the quality. It's better than I thought. I see big potential in this club, and during the 3 weeks what I saw now, I'm sure we will get the results we wanted to in the next 20 games, and I'm looking forward to it, and I'm very happy to be here.
One thing you guys mentioned is how young this team is. You guys come in and immediately some of the older players, but you're not that old yourself. Yeah. Do you guys have a lot of experience and winning experience? I know you lifted a trophy recently. Clubs that you've been at have been at an extremely high level, and Sturm Graz is a club that kind of demands winning regularly with fans demand winning. How do you bring that experience to a young group, and was that part of what attracted you to kind of this project?
I think, me and the Emir and we spoke about it also, Decky, Lasse and Manu, we are not that old, but we have more experience from the younger guys. So we need to lead them to good ways, to good energy, like just to maybe understand some moments in the game, to be a bit more killers because they know how to play soccer. These guys, I also was very surprised from the quality because the quality and the tempo is really high. Not just in our team, like we play also training games, so like it's really good tempo and really good quality, most of the teams. So I'm sure like everybody know how to play soccer. We just need to bring more from our experience, like how to win games and how to be more killers and to make a better defense for me.
I see like I was in the talks, a big sign for me to come here was also to take a big responsibility in this club. I like it. Of course, in the other clubs I have been now, there have been a lot of more experienced players, also major players who like took the lead also for me. But I like this new role. I want to take it. And of course, like Or said, everybody outside can play football, that is clear. Also the league, everybody can play football. With this experience we had in our career, also at this level where I played, I know some things maybe the young players don't know here. Maybe they're sometimes too naive in some situations, and maybe sometimes mistakes are like not are not punished immediately. But in this level where I played, I know that these mistakes are punished immediately. So I want to show them, even though if I don't know, I would train with a team. I'm like training now individually, but if I train with them, I can every time show in situations like, I don't know, Ian or doesn't matter whoever, but like Ian is a very, very young right back, and I see big potential in him, but in some situations he has to learn, and I think in my position now is of course a coach, but also like players like me to show him the way how to take the best out of him. So yeah, I like their new role here, and I like to take responsibility, so this is the way I want to do here. But of course I want to lead with my performance on the field as well.
Of course. Yeah, again, welcome to both of y'all. Just both of y'all are coming into this back line that, like you mentioned, has had some naive plays, some mistakes. How do y'all see yourselves adapting to the style of play that they want to play here?
From what I saw until now, like, yeah, we want to play brave. We want to hold the ball. We want to press the opponents. And it's also our responsibility to give confidence to the attackers and the midfielders to push forward and apply pressure on the opponent. Like Emir say, also we are more experienced for the other guys, and I feel like the back line can see everything from where we stand, so we see everything. So we just need to make sure that the guys in front of us will feel comfortable with the ball and without the ball, that we can play brave and, control the game against, for me, I don't care against who we play. We want to play brave, we want to hold the ball, we want to press every opponent, because I feel like, all right, the table is now, it's not good, but I feel like we are equal. The teams we play against in the training games, like I feel we are equal to the other teams. Like I feel like the league is very balanced. So for me, we want to go to every game, every stadium, to play our game, our system, and try to win.
Of course, in the previous club I played, Sturm Graz, is a totally different playing culture. Like in Sturm Graz, it's just like pressing all the time. It doesn't matter if you play like in the Austrian league or you play away in Celtic Glasgow. It doesn't matter. The playing style is always the same. It demands a lot of you. Here is a little bit different, but I think also my mission is to bring some of this culture into this club, because I think we have the player also for this, and also what I see is the coach wants to play also like this, a little bit more brave, more active. We want always to take the lead in the game. It doesn't matter if we have the ball or we play against the ball, because I think playing against the ball is the most important thing in football. You have 89 minutes against the ball and 1.5, 2, 3 minutes with the ball. So if you do the 89 minutes very good, yeah, you will be at least get a draw, I think. So, so if you don't concede a goal, you cannot lose. I think that's the main part. And yeah, with our offensive players, we have, I think, with Deki, Manu, Kapita, Kelvin, Shapi, everyone there, we have so much quality. We can always score 1 or 2 goals, but if we concede 1 or 2 goals every game, can be difficult. So for me and Or is also the mission now to bring this culture into the club, to play every game with a clean sheet, and to bring also the offensive players, like the confidence backs. They can trust us, so they can also attack like active, because they know it doesn't matter what happened. If they like get overplayed, there are guys behind who can solve situations. So yeah, I think this is the main part for us right now.
And then David mentioned that the World Cup being here just was kind of a draw in bringing players here. Just how much was it a draw for both of y'all?
What do you mean? Like Argentina was in our facility?
Yeah, and just the World Cup being in Kansas City.
Like the atmosphere in the city was amazing. I went to the Argentina game on Saturday. It was amazing. And also to see all these big players here around us. like in the gym or in making the recovery in the hot tub. It was really nice to see them and to speak with them. Obviously, they are the best in the world for me. So yeah, it's really nice. The atmosphere was amazing around the city, not just here in the facility. Like all the city was really good.
I wished I would come a little bit later here so I could play with Bosnia in the World Cup, but I was unlucky just on the extended list. But yeah, the atmosphere here was great in the city. Also, Austria played one game here against Algeria. One of my best friends played there, so I was also at the game. Was a very nice experience, to be honest. Yeah, I think this also brings American football, US football to another level. Like US football is now for sure more seen also, not just in the world, also more in Europe. So yeah, it's a good thing for every side, I think, and until now was a very good organization. I think every stadium was full, and yeah, hopefully will end great and we will have a very good final again in New York.
Yeah.
Welcome to Kansas City. What would you consider your best strengths as a player, and what can the fans expect from you when you step on the field for them?
So for me, I think my strength is like that I'm athlete, I'm fast. I'm big guy. I need to use it against like the strikers, because from what I saw, there is also like big guys up front here and very athletic guys. So yeah, I need to use my strength. I need to lead the back line and try to lead all of the team, because for me, center back is one of the most important guys on the pitch, not just from the playing aspect, like from to be leadership and to lead. That's it.
I don't like to talk too much about myself. I like others to rate my strengths, but I'm a guy, I like to run a lot. I demand it from me. In my position, I think it's unnecessary. It's necessary to run as much as possible, down and up. Yeah, I would like to score as many assists as possible. I like to cross very much. I also think my crosses are decent, so hopefully they will find some strikers. So I know if I get many assists, we score a lot of goals. But as well, I also like to play against very good wingers, because I like this one-against-one situations where I can prove myself to see at which level I am already, and maybe show them wingers also who they have against. Yeah, but I also celebrate like every duel like a goal. So yeah, hopefully I will make an assist and prevent goals, and that's the perfect thing for me.
Just
What do you want?
I just want to see if you guys are true KC guys yet or not. So, are we in Kansas or in Missouri right now?
Now?
Yep.
Missouri.
No, now we are in Kansas City, bro.
Wait, downtown is in Missouri.
Downtown is Missouri.
Yes.
That's I know. Yeah.
And where are we right now?
In Kansas City,
Kansas,
bro.
Kansas.
In Kansas what?
Kansas.
Yeah.
State Kansas.
There you go. There you go.
No, we are in Kansas City, in state Kansas. That's what I want to
There you
mean. You
go,
didn't
There you go.
let me finish the
True
sentence.
KC guys, aren't you? Okay.
I
have
live
you-
in the Overland Park. I'm too far away from
yeah,
it.
no, I get that. Have you guys had the opportunity yet to go to a good barbecue spot in here or not?
Not yet.
Not yet? All right.
Barbecue is too unhealthy, bro.
A good answer. All right. Thank you, guys.
Are you from which journalist are you? From where are you? Which journalist?
From Canada.
Welcome to Kansas City. Just why choose to come here? In your conversations, what was the selling point to come to Sporting Kansas City?
Primero que nada, bienvenido al club. Te quería preguntar por qué elegiste este equipo y qué en las conversaciones que tuviste con David te convenció a venir aquí.
Bueno, muchas gracias obviamente por la bienvenida. Ya quería, la verdad, un nuevo reto. un cambio nuevo. Creo que mi ex club anterior, creo que ya había cumplido mi ciclo. Entonces quería nuevas cosas, un nuevo club, quería un nuevo reto, ¿verdad? Seguir creciendo como persona, como profesional. Entonces, bueno, tuve la oportunidad que David me contactó, ¿verdad? Invitándome al club a trabajar, a venir aquí a ayudar al equipo. Entonces, bueno, me gustó el proyecto que me dijeron, así que, bueno, sin pensarlo dos veces tomé la decisión de venir acá.
Yeah, so first of all, he wants to thank you guys for the welcome. The reason he chose to come to Sporting Kansas City was he was looking for a new challenge, a new change in his life. He feels like he finished a cycle in his last club, and he wanted to go someplace new to grow as a person and also as a player. As for the conversations he had with David, he said that David kind of pitched him the project, told him that there was work to do, and invited him to help grow this team, and he liked the project, and he liked what David shared with him.
One thing, you've played in America with Juarez for Leagues Cup. What was your thought process about joining MLS and your experiences playing against MLS teams? Did that kind of help make that decision for you?
Cuando estabas con Juárez, viniste a jugar a los Estados Unidos en la Leagues Cup. ¿Eso influyó un poco tu decisión para venir y qué pensabas sobre los equipos de la MLS?
Sí, la verdad que influyó mucho. Cuando venía aquí a jugar contra los equipos de la MLS, veía que tenían un muy buen nivel. Me gustaba su infraestructura, sus estadios, sus campos, su organización. Entonces creo que cada que venía acá me encantaba venir a jugar acá, enfrentarme con otros equipos diferentes, con otro tipo de nivel. Entonces creo que sí. Por eso, como te dije anteriormente, no pensé dos veces en venir acá.
Yes, he said actually playing in Leagues Cup and playing in the U.S. influenced his decision heavily. He liked the level that the players here in MLS play like. He liked the stadiums, the facilities, the organization of the infrastructure, and he liked the way that MLS players played. So that was one of the decisions that when this was presented to him, he didn't think twice about it.
Then have you had a chance to talk to any Colombian players? There's a lot that have played in your position in this league, and Danny Rosero, one here, Segura in LAFC. Did you have any conversations about coming to the league and coming to these teams with them?
Hay varios jugadores colombianos, especialmente en tu posición. ¿Hablaste con alguno de ellos antes de unirte a Sporting Kansas City?
No, hablé más que todo con Manu, que me aconsejó mucho venir para acá. Le preguntaba un montón de cosas, entonces pues todo lo que me decía era positivo, así que eso me animó aún más a venir acá. Y sí, eso es todo.
He didn't speak with any of the Colombian players here in the league, but he spoke a lot to Manu, and Manu spoke really positively of the club. He asked him a ton of questions, and that really influenced him to make the decision.
Welcome into Kansas City.
Thank you.
Just they're bringing in a lot of defenders, trying to shore up this back line. Just how do you see yourself fitting into there, and how have you become acclimated in the first couple trainings?
Vienes a un equipo que trae muchas defensas. ¿Qué es tu estilo de juego que traes a este equipo y cómo te has ajustado en estas pocas semanas que has estado aquí?
Bueno, normalmente en mis anteriores equipos siempre han habido más de 4 o 5 defensas. Siempre me he intentado ganar mi puesto, siempre me lo he ganado, así que segurísimo que aquí vendré a dar lo mejor de mí, a mostrarle al cuerpo técnico para que me han traído. Siempre me gusta dar lo mejor de mí, esforzarme, dar el todo, el 100%, así que sí veo que hay muchos defensas, pero bueno, no creo pues que eso me vaya a impedir no luchar por mi puesto, así que bueno, vengo a ganarme aquí mi puesto. Siempre doy lo mejor de mí, así que bueno, no veo siempre soy tranquilo, estoy confiante de lo que puedo dar, de lo que puedo aportar al equipo. Entonces, bueno, tengo esa confianza en mí.
He said he's been in teams where there's been a lot of defenders, 4 or 5 defenders per team, and he is ready to give his best and show the technical staff why he was chosen to be here. He wants to earn his spot and show that he is going to give his all for this team. He is a very calm, confident person in his abilities, and that's what he will show.
And Colombia also, obviously in the World Cup, they played here in Kansas City. Kansas City hosted a lot of World Cup teams. Was that any part of the draw to come here, is seeing Kansas City be a host city?
Colombia jugó aquí en Kansas City para el Mundial. ¿Eso influyó un poco de tu decisión para venir a jugar en Kansas City?
No, la verdad, yo creo que fue una coincidencia. Nunca me imaginé que Colombia fuera a jugar aquí. Me alegró mucho cuando me di cuenta que iban a jugar aquí. Es más, fui al estadio a verlo jugar. Creo que te da una motivación más a seguir luchando por tu sueño. Todavía no he sido seleccionador colombiano. Me gustaría llegar a ese nivel algún día a la selección Colombia. Pero bueno, sé que tengo que dar mucho de mí, tengo que trabajar demasiado en los detalles. Así que bueno, yo creo que vine a un gran club y yo creo que tienen todo lo necesario para seguir creciendo como persona, como futbolista, así que bueno, a poner de mí todo lo que esté en mi alcance.
He said that was actually just a happy coincidence that Colombia ended up in Kansas City, and he actually got to go to the stadium and see the game, and it was really incredible experience for him because it pushed him to reach his dreams. He hasn't been called up to the Colombian national team, but that's a dream that he has and that he's working and striving for. And coming to this team, to Sporting, he said it's a good team that hopefully is going to help him grow and continue to push towards that dream.
Omar para La Positiva Radio, bienvenido a Kansas City, a Sporting KC. Tu primer gol profesional fue en los Estados Unidos. ¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Fue esa una de las partes de las emociones de ver los estadios y cómo se disfruta el fútbol en Estados Unidos? ¿Te motivó a decidirte por la MLS?
Disculpa, ¿dónde eres?
De Guatemala.
Un saludo a todos los de Guatemala. Sí, la verdad que fue muy feliz, una experiencia muy linda, marcar mi primer gol aquí en la League Cup, a un equipo de la MLS. Sí, lo venía trabajando mucho en los entrenamientos, entonces sabía que ese gol iba a llegar pronto. Estaba muy motivado también de marcar porque mi esposa estaba en embarazo, así que quería dedicarle un gol a mi hijo, ¿verdad? Entonces eso me motivó aún más a hacer un gol. Lo trabajé demasiado, así que gracias a Dios que llegó ese gol.
¿Cómo divides tus emociones en la Copa del Mundo entre Portugal y Colombia?
Bueno, ese partido no me lo vi personalmente, lo vi por la televisión, pero fue un gran partido de ambos equipos. Creo que Colombia tuvo mucho mejor, tuvo para ganarlo, pero bueno, el fútbol, tuvieron muchas ocasiones de meter el gol, pero bueno, el fútbol a veces entra, a veces no, entonces creo que Colombia tiene un muy buen equipo, una muy buena selección. Creo que podían dar más, entonces, pero bueno, esto es fútbol, a veces dar más o dar menos no te va a alcanzar, ¿verdad? Así que bueno, estuvo muy bueno ese partido.
La pregunta era de que si tus emociones cuando juega Portugal se dividen o cuando juega Colombia. Y por último, para ti, ¿quién va a ser campeón del mundo?
Mi favorito, la verdad, va a ser Francia, ¿verdad? Mi favorito, pero bueno, creo que las 4 selecciones que están ahora son impresionantes, son muy buenas, así que cualquiera de esas pueden ganar. Gracias.
I know you said you got to go to the game against Ghana. Did you get to participate in the Banderazo the night before? And what did you get to see the scenes? What was it like to see so many of your fellow countrymen here and celebrating ahead of the game?
No sé, mencionaste que fuiste al partido de Colombia-Ghana, pero te quería preguntar si fuiste al banderazo y cómo te sentiste de ver la multitud de colombianos que vinieron a apoyar al equipo aquí.
No, no, no. Al banderazo como tal no fui. Solo pasé por ahí con mi esposa en carro, pero bueno, creo que el ambiente que veía en las redes sociales era impresionante, el apoyo que le hacían sentir a la selección. Y bueno, como lo vi anteriormente, sí fui al partido. Fue un ambiente increíble, fue una experiencia muy linda porque nunca me había tocado ver a la Selección Colombia en un estadio, fue mi primera vez, lo viví, lo gocé, estaba la verdad que muy feliz, muy contento de ver primera vez a la Selección Colombia personalmente. Y como lo vi anteriormente, eso me dio una motivación más a seguir creciendo, a seguir mejorando, a seguir buscando mis sueños y de algún día poder llegar a la Selección Colombia.
So he did not get to go to the banderazo, but he actually got to drive past it with his wife in the car, and he said it was incredible to see it, and what he saw on social media was super impressive as well. But at the game, that's where he really got to experience the fan culture and seeing all the Colombian fans at Arrowhead, Kansas City Stadium. It was his first time seeing the Colombian national team play at a stadium, so that was a very special and enjoyable moment for him. And like he previously said, that gave him the motivation to continue his dream to play with his national team.
Moisés, thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Thank you.